Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to Brics, part 38. So the following information about Brics and quantum finance or the quantum financial system are for research purposes. Okay, so let's get on with this. Alright. Okay, so we were right here, the implications on the quantum financial the implications, number 6, implications on financial system stability, the potential impact on quantum computer cyber attacks. Okay, so reading this part now. Okay, so the stability of the financial system is dependent on cryptographic security. The emergence of quantum machines with the potential for advanced decryption capabilities introduces significant risk that could lead to considerable economic losses. Okay, so they don't exactly know the entirety of the scope, but there is a quantum threat that can lead to potential losses in is crucial for understanding its impact. A particularly alarming scenario is a quantum-enabled cyber attack on critical financial infrastructures, such as Fedwire fund services, whose users include government agencies. Okay, so let's see what. Okay, see how they. Okay, the estimation is expected to rise. In other words, about a quantum attack. As the financial system digitization accelerates, highlighting a significant concern for financial stability. Nevertheless, transitioning to a quantum-resistant cryptography could greatly reduce these risks. Okay. Central banks' defenses against the quantum threat. Now let's read this. Now remember, BIS right here, which is where this paper is from, is the Business of International Settlements. Okay? Okay, so it's talking about creating financial market infrastructures and maintaining financial stability inevitably leads to the security and integration of their operations, a topic of utmost importance in BIS 23. So you can take some of the sources down below and research more if you're wondering about how securing data, for example, related to monetary policy formation is highly critical. So if you want to check that out, I would suggest finding this resource right there. Okay, given the potential impact of quantum computing on the financial system, central banks are primarily affected and need to proactively prepare against this cyber risk in order to maintain trust and confidence in the financial system. Okay. Hold on. I'm reading. Okay, it's talking about investing in post-quantum cryptography. Quantum safe cryptography. is a complex, time-consuming, and resource-intensive process. Okay. This transition to quantum-safe schemes becomes a priority and needs to be integrated into cybersecurity roadmaps. With the perspective of the quantum era, okay, see, and in research, especially in my dissertation and other things like that, you run into a lot of things that talk about the quantum era. That's the new era that's coming, okay? And I don't think anything's going to stop that right now. Okay, so IT systems will need to be adapted continuously. Okay, so quantum cryptography. It is important to acknowledge potential vulnerabilities. These new algorithms need to be extensively examined in concrete applications, possibly requiring ongoing adjustments. Furthermore, as quantum computers' capabilities continue to increase, the cybersecurity threat that quantum computing poses may evolve, requiring more agile systems. The ability of systems to rapidly switch from one algorithm or protocol to another is an important parameter to consider in selecting a new security framework. Relying on unique protocol based, for instance, on asymmetric cryptography such as RSA protocols will no longer be possible. Okay, it's talking about a quantum readiness plan. Okay. Project Leap. Quantum proofing the financial system. Project Leap. I might want to look into that sometime. Okay. Project Leap has already made significant strides in the first place, implementing and testing post-quantum cryptography when setting up a virtual private network between Germany and France. Initial testing demonstrated the secure transmission of financial data through quantum-safe communication channel. However, it also revealed that the time needed to set up the VPN was affected. An example of the experimented results is illustrated in graph 1 called Legacy, represents the VTM setup time using classical cryptography, and the other bars corresponding to various versions of quantum resistance cryptography. I have an issue with VPN. It's not as secure as they say it is, unless they quantify it. I don't know. But I've really looked into VPN, and I don't really find it secure. Mostly because whether they say it or not, they do take your data and they can trace you back. Um, okay, so Project Quantum Leap is where they're doing this testing of quantum security. Here's the graph if you want to know anything. Okay, so I'm right here. It looks like, yeah, we're going to finish this out. Okay. Okay. The migration from existing encryption algorithms to quantum safe cryptographic protocols conceived to resist quantum computer attacks need to be deployed at a large scale. This transition involves updating a broad range of infrastructure components, including software, hardware, and cryptographic libraries across various systems, which requires significant coordination within and across organizations. You can always tell something's written in Europe because they'll spell organizations that way. Okay, so conclusion. Okay, it says this new technology will not replace existing computers and it will not be applicable in all areas of computation, but in some selected areas, it has a potential to significantly accelerate calculations. Okay, this right here, I guess, is talking about what BIS does, especially the macro modeling. Okay. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I mean, right now initial gains have been modest, but Microsoft has kind of changed that with a new version of a qubit that they can do a million. A million qubits changes the game completely because it takes away, if you remember me talking about quantum error correction, I forgot where I talked about that, but it's called QEC. If you research that, you'll see that you need about 1,000,000 to 1,000,000,000,000 qubits to really put out this technology to secure the financial system. Okay, hold on. Oops. Go to 100. Okay. Well, maybe it was better at 110. Well, let's go back to 130. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm reading. Okay, so quantum computing and this cryptography is what's going to secure this new financial system that they're creating. But, and this is funny, current cryptography is based on mathematical problems that are unsolvable using classical computers, but that can potentially be solved by future quantum computers. This means that a future quantum computer can break the encryption schemes protecting our financial system, thereby representing a threat to financial stability. In other words, we're talking about breaking the blockchain. This is why I'm not very invested in crypto. Okay, hold on. Okay, while the benefits of QC, which is quantum computers, will take time to develop, the cybersecurity threat is imminent due to the possibility for malicious actors to intercept and store data today with the intention to decrypt in the future when quantum computers become available. We can discuss central banks' responsibility in addressing this challenge and the steps that need to be taken to mitigate the risk. Finally, we'll look at how quantum technology can have a positive impact on security. For example, by using quantum key distribution, a promising technology to distribute secret keys to communicating endpoints, solving a major challenge in IT systems today. I wonder if that's why some of those financial institutions are asking about keys, security keys. Interesting. Okay, so where does this put us? We're at the 16. Okay, we're gonna stop there. Okay, but I do want to let you know what's coming up. We're gonna actually be going into like MasterCard, the World Economic Forum, and even Bank of America and stuff like that, how they're talking about the quantum finance. Well, I call it a system, but I think they label it as quantum finance. So that we're going to be going into detail next week, but I just this was a good thing to introduce. Definitely more research needs to be looked into and done on this, but I'm trying to show you what's coming, what the future is going to be about. Okay, so the quantum era is definitely coming, and we are really on the cusp of that. As you notice, as I talked about in another paper that talked about a global depression from 2026 to 2035, and that's going to end up leading to World War III, because China's probably going after Taiwan, especially now in 2027, and unless they move those plans up, we're going to have to wait to see how all this plays out. Alright, well, on that note, ladies and gents, I will see you next Monday. Alright. And I am concluding this Brics Part 38 production because this has been a Jester production.